Hello everyone. Today in this video we'll be talking about the metabolism of lipids. In my last video I explained the chemistry of lipids. Now we'll be talking about their metabolism. First of all is the metabolism of fatty acids. Now for this you need to know the meaning of the term metabolism. Now what is metabolism? It includes two types of processes, the catabolism and the anabolism. Now what is catabolism? Catabolism is the breakdown of the substances, whereas anabolism is the build-up of the substances. So both these processes, the catabolism and anabolism, they form up the metabolism. Now we'll talk about the metabolism of fatty acids. First is their oxidation or breakdown or catabolism of the fatty acids. It is also called the beta oxidation of fatty acids. Why? Because everything is occurring, all the processes or all the reactions are occurring between the alpha carbon and the beta carbon of the fatty acid chain. Now which is the alpha carbon? The carbon atom which is adjacent to the carboxyl carbon is the alpha carbon, and to the second carbon atom to the carboxyl, that is the beta carbon. So all the reactions are going to occur between the alpha carbon and the beta carbon. Now what is the site of this beta oxidation, or where does this beta oxidation occur? It occurs inside the mitochondria. Why? Because the enzymes for this reaction, all these reactions of beta oxidation, they are present inside the mitochondria. For this fatty acid, it needs to be transported inside the mitochondria. So you know what is the structure of mitochondria? Mitochondrial membrane has a double layered membrane, and inside is the matrix. So the fatty acid has to cross the outer membrane, then reach the intramembranous space, then cross the inner mitochondrial membrane and reach into the matrix. Once it reaches into the matrix, then the beta oxidation starts. So for this, first it needs to be activated. So now how was this activation of fatty acids occur? The activation of fatty acids occurs inside the cytoplasm. The fatty acids, now they combine with what? They combine with coenzyme A to form fatty acyl coenzyme A using one ATP. This fatty acyl coenzyme A crosses the outer mitochondrial membrane, reaches the inner mitochondrial space. Now it reaches the intramembranous space, that is the space between the two membranes of the mitochondria, of the mitochondrial lining. Now what happens in this space? Now here the coenzyme A, it is swapped with carnitine. So acetyl coenzyme A, what happens? The coenzyme A is removed and carnitine is attached. So it becomes acetyl or acyl carnitine. This acyl carnitine, it moves inside the mitochondrial matrix, into the mitochondria. Now for every molecule of acyl carnitine which transports into the mitochondrial matrix, one molecule of carnitine moves out. Now what happens inside the matrix? Now this carnitine, it again dissociates and the coenzyme A attaches, and we get again acyl coenzyme A. Now here, once this acyl coenzyme A, fatty acyl coenzyme A reaches the mitochondrial matrix, now the series of reaction starts. There are four steps of this reaction, of this beta oxidation. The first is oxidation, second is hydration, third is oxidation, and fourth is thiolytic cleavage. Now we'll be talking about the first step. What happens in the first step? The acyl coenzyme A, it gets converted to trans-enoyl coenzyme A. Now here in this step, FADH2 is produced, means energy is being produced. Because you all know what FADH2 yields how many ATP? It yields 2 ATP. So and ATP is a source of metabolic energy. Now which is the enzyme which is catalyzing this reaction? It is acyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase. So for this, to remember the name of enzymes, you have to see that acyl coenzyme A is the name of the substrate. So name of the substrate plus the dehydrogenase. So acyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase. Why? Because here oxidation is occurring. So it converts acyl coenzyme A to trans-enol coenzyme A. Now there is a second reaction. The second reaction is hydration or addition of water molecule. Now what happens? Now here to trans-enol coenzyme A, one water molecule is added and we get L3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A. Now again, which enzyme is being used? Take the name of the substrate. Which is the substrate? Trans-enol coenzyme A. So take the name enoyl coenzyme A hydratase. That is the enzyme which is catalyzing this reaction. Now in the second process of this hydration, we have got L3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A. Now this enters the third step. Now which is the third step? The third step is again oxidation. Now oxidation will occur. What will happen? Another coenzyme A will be added to this. In this oxidation, what will happen? L3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A, it will be converted to 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A. And here NADH will be produced. And one NADH produces how many ATP? 3 ATPs. So one NADH will generate 3 ATP molecules. And what is the enzyme which is catalyzing this reaction? Again, take the name of the substrate. Hydroxyacyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase. This is the enzyme which is catalyzing this reaction. Now the last reaction is thiolytic cleavage. Now what product we have from the third reaction? It is 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A. Now what happens? Another coenzyme A is added up, and the enzyme thiolase acts over here, and we get two different products. We get one acyl coenzyme A and one acetyl coenzyme A. So here ends up the reaction. So this acetyl coenzyme A, where is it being used up? It is being used up in the TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle, where it then generates ATP. So this way, and the acyl coenzyme A, you now see it is shortened by 2 carbons. So this, now what we will sum up this, the summary of this beta oxidation. So what happens in beta oxidation? First of all, there is activation of the fatty acid. After being activated, it enters the mitochondrial matrix where the enzymes are present for the reaction. The 4 steps occur. After the 4 steps of oxidation, what do we get in the end? We get one molecule of acyl coenzyme A and one molecule of acetyl coenzyme A. Now the acyl coenzyme A, it will again start another oxidation cycle. Whereas acetyl coenzyme A, it will enter the Krebs cycle and it will produce ATP over there. And what other things we have got? We have got one FADH and we have got one NADH. And you know, one FADH is going to produce 2 ATP and one NADH is going to produce 3 ATP. So in this way, the reaction goes on occurring. Now on the other hand, one side is oxidation, other side is the synthesis. You see that oxidation and synthesis both are going in opposite direction. Now in oxidation, the last process is cleavage. And in the synthesis, the first process is joining. The second last process of the oxidation is what? The beta oxidation is oxidation. And in synthesis of the fatty acids, it is reduction. So it is the opposite is going on. The second reaction of the oxidation, beta oxidation reaction is loss of water. Whereas in the synthesis, there is gain of water in the oxidation, and in the synthesis there is loss of water. And the first reaction of the beta oxidation is oxidation, whereas in the synthesis it is reduction. So the 4 processes, they go in an opposite direction. The synthesis as well as the oxidation, they go in opposite direction. Now we'll talk about the synthesis in detail. The first process of synthesis is the joining reaction. In the joining reaction, what happens? One malonyl coenzyme A and one acetyl coenzyme A. What happens? They both combine to ACP, the acyl carrier protein. And the malonyl coenzyme A becomes malonyl ACP, whereas acetyl coenzyme A becomes acetyl ACP. And which is the enzyme over here? Enzyme is 3-ketoacyl synthase. And we get what? From this first joining reaction, we get ketoacyl ACP. Now after this first joining reaction, we get 3-ketoacyl ACP. Now the second reaction is the reduction reaction. What happens in the reduction reaction? One NADH is being used, and the 3-ketoacyl ACP gets converted to 3-hydroxyacyl ACP. Then we come to the third reaction. In third reaction, one water molecule is being removed. That is, there is removal of one water molecule from 3-hydroxyacyl ACP. And here the enzyme will be what? 3-hydroxyacyl ACP dehydratase, because water is being removed, and we get enoyl ACP in the end of this third reaction. Now in the fourth reaction, it's again reduction reaction. In this, enoyl ACP is being converted to, further, like it's now the fatty acid chain is going to be formed. So it is in the presence of the enoyl ACP reductase, here the reduction occurs and NADH is being used. Now here the fatty acid, it has grown by 2 carbon atoms. This cycle of 2 carbon atoms addition goes on occurring and occurring, whole this synthesis process, until we get a 16 carbon reached, which is the palmitic acid. How we get palmitoyl ACP in the end, which in the presence of thioesterase, it gets converted to palmitic acid and ACP is used, using up one water molecule. So this is all about the metabolism of fatty acids, in which we have discussed both the oxidation and the synthesis reaction. So now this I repeat, in the oxidation reaction, we go like with the 4 processes, steps going down, and the opposite steps, they go up in the synthesis reaction. This you can see in the flow chart which has been shown here. So that is all about the fatty acid metabolism. Now we will talk about the metabolism of triacylglycerols or triglycerides. In my last slide, I told you what are triacylglycerols or triglycerides. What are they? They are actually the triacylglycerols. They are what? 1 glycerol molecule and 3 fatty acid. They are the esters of glycerol with 3 fatty acids. The introduction to what are the triacylglycerols or triglycerides. Now what is its synthesis? Where is its synthesis occurring? Its synthesis is occurring in the liver and in the adipose tissue. They both are the major site of the synthesis of these triacylglycerols. Now what happens in the adipose tissue? The synthesis is occurring for which process? For the storage process. And then it is secreted as VLDL and it is transported to the various parts of the body for utilization and for storage. And again the same thing I am telling you. How is it synthesized? The process is the esterification process. Now from where does the glycerol part of this synthesis occurs? The glycerol part of this triacylglycerol, from where does it come? It comes from either dihydroxyacetone phosphate or from the glycerol 3-phosphate. Now this dihydroxyacetone phosphate, from where does it come? It is an intermediate of the process of glycolysis. Now what is glycolysis? Glycolysis is the process of oxidation of glucose or breakdown of glucose. So the glycerol part is coming from where? From the metabolism of glucose. So glycerol 3-phosphate, it may be formed by phosphorylation of glycerol or by the reduction of dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Now what happens? The dihydroxyacetone phosphate, it combines with fatty acyl coenzyme A to form acyl dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Then in the presence of reductase, it forms lysophosphatidyllic acid. Here NADPH is being used. So energy is being used up here. Then in the presence of acyltransferase, what happens? One fatty acyl coenzyme is being added here and it becomes phosphatidic acid. Then what happens? The first fatty acyl coenzyme A has been added in first reaction. So we are going to add 3 fatty acyl coenzymes A. In first reaction with dihydroxyacetone phosphate, we added first fatty acyl coenzyme A. In the third reaction, we are adding the second fatty acyl coenzyme A. And in the last reaction, when we get 1,2-diacylglycerol, we add another fatty acyl coenzyme A, and in the presence of enzyme acyltransferase, we get triacylglycerol. So this is the chart, the table which explains the synthesis of the triacylglycerol from dihydroxyacetone phosphate. So 3 fatty acids are being added in first step, in third step and in the last step. Now next is the digestion of these triacylglycerols. How the enzyme pancreatic lipase is responsible for their digestion. From where this pancreatic lipase is coming? From the pancreatic juice. The pancreas, they secrete pancreatic juice which is being released into the small intestine or the duodenum. Where what happens is pancreatic lipase, it hydrolyzes the fatty acids which are esterified to the first and third carbon atom. So those 2 fatty acids are released. The fatty acids attached to the first carbon atom and to the third carbon atom. The 2 fatty acids are released. What we are left with? We are left with 2 monoacylglycerol, that is which is attached to the second carbon atom. Then what happens? An isomerase acts on it. The enzyme isomerase, it shifts the position of this second fatty acid to the first, and then that is also released, and we get 3 fatty acids and glycerol. So you can see this chart showing that triacylglycerol, first in the presence of lipase, it forms 2,3-diacylglycerol. 1 fatty acid is released, then second fatty acid is released, and we are left with 2 monoacylglycerol. Mono means having 1. Then isomerase acts on it, which makes this 2 monoacylglycerol to 1 monoacylglycerol. The position has been shifted from second carbon atom to the first. And then that last fatty acid also is released, and we get 1 glycerol and 3 fatty acids. So that is all about the breakdown of the or metabolism of the triglycerides. Now its metabolism in fatty acids in adipose tissue. Metabolism of triacylglycerols in adipose tissue. Now adipose tissue is the storage of this triacylglycerols or triglycerides, but they are not always being present as it is. They are not present in inert form. Now what happens? A part of it is being degraded daily, and there is a daily turnover. Some new molecules are being synthesized and part of it is being degraded. So now this is all about the metabolism of triacylglycerols, in which first I told you about their synthesis. How are they being synthesized? By using glycerol and 3 fatty acids. From where that glycerol is coming? You need to remember the glycerol is coming from the glucose part, from the metabolism of or oxidation of glucose, the process of glycolysis. From where we get a product dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and that is being used for this. In this process, in the formation of the triglycerides. And then we talked about their breakdown. The breakdown is by the lipase, the pancreatic lipase. So this is all about the metabolism of triglycerides. With this, I end over here, and this video now it contains very clear and precise notes. So these simple notes I have given so that you can understand the topic easily. With this, I end up with metabolism of triacylglycerols and fatty acids. In my next video, I'll be talking about the metabolism of cholesterol, which is very important. The cholesterol, you hear this word very commonly. So next we'll be talking about the metabolism of cholesterol. And if you have any queries, leave a question in the comment box, or you can contact me. My contact number is being displayed on the screen. Thank you. Thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day.